hate speech crowned for corruption. No, it is not a film trick. The news reports are real. The Senate may soon pass a bill that will ensure that any Nigerian who insults the religion or tribe of another is put to death by hanging. Yes, you heard it right. The punishment for insult in Nigeria may soon be death. On November 12th, Senator Aliyu Sabi Abdullahi, representing Niger North and the current Deputy Chief Whip of the Senate, presented to the chamber a bill for the establishment of the National Commission for Prohibition of Hate Speech. The bill stipulates inter alia, a person who uses, publishes, presents, produces, plays, provides, distributes, and or directs the performance of any material, written or visual, which is threatening, abusive, or insulting, or involves the use of threatening, abusive, or insulting words or behavior, commits an offense if such person intends thereby stir up ethnic hatred, or having regard to all the circumstances, ethnic hatred is likely to be stirred up against any person or persons from such an ethnic group in Nigeria. Any person who commits an offense under this section shall be liable to life imprisonment, and where the act causes any loss of life, the person shall be punished with death by hanging. While hate speech should be discouraged by everyone and expressions are better made in the full consciousness of our diversity and fostering of national unity, hate speech remains in the realm of expression and should be treated as such. It is not a capital offense and can never be. In the 8th Senate, Senator Abdullahi Sabi Aliu introduced the bill on the floor of the chamber, but it was immediately knocked out by the Senate President Abubakar Saraki. The reintroduction of the same bill by the same senators points to a sinister move to further gag the expression of Nigerians on national issues. In explaining what hate speech connotes, the bill states thus: hate speech are comments that insult people for their religion, ethnic, linguistic affiliation, racial contempt, among others. With this explanation, it is evidence that which is now being dressed as hate speech is already covered in the criminal code of the Nigerian law. Introducing any bill again is merely a means to an expected end. Secondly, the failure of the bill to fully define how to connect a speech made by someone to death or loss of life of another leaves it ambiguous. It can be effectively used to implicate anyone while claiming a previous comment caused a loss of life. The most ironic part of this exercise is that Nigerians have for years been pushing for the National Assembly to pass a bill that will not only criminalize corruption but also make it a capital offense with capital punishment, as been done in some Asian countries. Incidentally, the advocacy seems to have fallen on deaf ears. The greatest factor endangering the survival of Nigeria as a country is not how people choose to address their fellow countrymen, but rather how public office holders have since time immemorial wasted our common patrimony. The real danger of Nigeria is when funds meant for the development and construction of healthcare centers are fully disbursed to contractors, but not a single work gets done. When pensions fund remitted over the years by workers are stolen from government coffers without a trace. When roads that have been awarded and re-awarded for years become death traps as a result of stolen contract funds. When insecurity persists in the northeast as a result of lack of fighting equipment and lack of morale for the soldiers, yet billions of naira are released annually for these items, but they get looted. These are some of the factors that ruin a nation. To make a matter worse, the perpetrators of this evil and sleaze are merely given a slap on the wrist when they are caught and often return to office almost immediately. The lawmakers is easier for those who are directly responsible for death on our roads or mortality as a result of bad healthcare service to plea for bargain. It is a mockery of the natural order. To add salt to an open wound, the new bill created another cash cow for the overburdened rent system of our public institutions. Senator Aliyu is proposing for the establishment of an entire agency of government to track insults. The proposed National Commission for the Prohibition of Hate Speech will have a chairperson, a governing board, director general, directors, deputy directors, assistant directors, amongst others. All these individuals will appoint ADs, have allocated traveling allowances, new official cars, enormous salaries, and annual budget and personal security. All this just to stop people from insulting one another or insulting the politicians who should be open to criticism. The Senate should leave us in peace to insult one another. This should not be their concern. The people are hungry, jobless, and losing hope. They should prefer solutions to this. Well written. It's really a good one. We have been talking about this for a couple of days since this particular senator proposed this bill. But one thing is that the Senate itself has dissociated itself from this particular senator that is on its own. That even the only thing, the bill just passed the first reading, which by the time it will be coming again, it might be thrown away. And you can imagine the first person that argued or that denied this proposed bill was Saraki in the 8th Senate. This guy was not just too comfortable with that. He said, okay, now that Saraki is not there, since we have a Senate or the Senate president that, that could be more lenient, maybe let him try his luck again. He brought this thing again. Are we under Sharia or something? You are bringing bill. And, according to what this writer has said, that let us concentrate on things that will improve the lives of people. What of people who have been stealing billions? Those who have stolen billions in the past, who are still stealing as we speak. What have they done to them? How are they going to be treated? We're talking about Mena. Now the family member came out and said, oh, any moment from now, Mena may collapse. Mena may have stroke. He might cease not to be working again. This and that. Where does that tend to? Just for him to be flown abroad. That's just what they are looking for. All this while, we've never heard that Mena has been in the hospital, because that is the trend. And at the end of the day, because of our constitution, our laws, they will still allow them to go to be able to leave the shore of Nigeria, all in the name of getting treatment abroad, and they are not ashamed. People will always say, oh, it's innocent until proven guilty. But in as much we are talking about missing money, that means some people have paid with their lives. A lot of pensioners that are supposed to have collected their money, they can't get it. We see a lot of them on queue. All those old people on queue, not getting their pensions as at when due. Even the ones that are still collecting salary, that are still the age of, that's still under retirement age, they can't even get their salary. And the president's wife came to Kogi State begging people. The only thing they are campaigning with is payment of salary. Nothing up there. So pathetic. And a senator is coming, want to say, is proposing hate speech, proposing penalty for hate speech. Like it has been listed before, they will have a director, they will have this, they will have this, they will have this, they will have money. At the end of the day, it will still boil down on money. They will not say, oh, let some people just volunteer to take charge of that particular project or bill, as it may sound. They will not create another ministry for it. Before they start embezzling money. Before they start wasting money unnecessarily. The money that the allowances that the senators are collecting now, we don't even know how to go about it. People have been telling them, reduce your expenses, reduce all these things that you are collecting. No, they will not say that. People have been crying, they've been clamoring for what is going to happen to people who have been stealing this country dry. They have killed many people. Now they are talking about insult. The writer said, leave Nigerians, let them continue to insult each other. Of course, we know that is not their aim. Their aim is for people not to be able to criticize the government. They have forgotten that today they are in power, tomorrow you will not be in power. You will not even be in power. Even if you are going to be in power tomorrow, and then tomorrow or the day after maybe or some days, you will not be there again. talking about after one election year or the other election year, you will not be there again. We know a lot of them that were in the 8th Senate last year, in the 8th Senate, but today they are no longer there. Forgetting that they themselves, they will come and fall into that trap, because you cannot see things going on wrong and you keep quiet unless you are with that particular government. That is the only thing that can make you to be quiet, because you are getting one favor or the other. That is the only thing that can make you to be quiet. But in as much you are not part of them, you must say something. They've forgotten that this law or whatever that he's proposing, it will catch up with him. Somebody was telling Erufai that this hate speech you people are talking about, after you are no longer in government, you are going, it will affect you. You will need it. You will need it. I don't just know why they always intoxicated with power, position. It's very unfortunate. It's very unfortunate. It's very, very unfortunate, because these same people came out of the masses. They will be good people when they are not there, but as soon as they get there, get to that power, they get hold on to that power, they become demigods, they become tigers. Who is going to save us from all of these things? Until we come together, until we come to the realization that we must do things rightly, irrespective of who we are close to or who we are connected with. Until we are out of all these sentiments, all manner of sentiments. That is when we can get it right in this country. Some people will tell you, oh, this country, the other countries, the countries that people always refer to, that they've gone through this all these hurdles, they've gone through all these abnormalities. Must we go through the same thing? Can't we learn from others? Can't we use others' mistakes to learn and uplift ourselves? Can't we just do copy and paste and do the right thing? Must we go through suffering? Must we go through suffering because other people, went through that suffering? Can't we use their experience or their whatever to learn and build ourselves? It's so pathetic that somebody will just sit down and be thinking of how other people will be taken away from the surface of the earth. Not, it's not just reasonable at all. It's not reasonable. Meanwhile, someone is suggesting that I think we have to leave this country for them. They can have the whole country. I will advise the youth to find their way out. It's not really possible. The unfortunate thing is that even the so-called youth are even supporting them, because they are related to them in one way or the other. Any form of way they are related to them, they are the ones supporting them. They will come after you that why are you talking about it? Why are you insulting the president? Why are you insulting the senator? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? Check their life, nothing to write home about, because they themselves, they are not even ready to even move forward. So they are satisfied with this kind of condition. So guys, I would like to hear from you what you think about this whole thing, that death for hate speech, crown for corruption. Thank you very much. Bye.